west of Disney World.
Right.
Our church has a porch. You can stand on the porch and watch the fireworks.
That's right.
At Walt Disney World. And my wife and I've been a Christian for 44 years. My wife and I have been married for 40 years. We have 5 kids, 7 grandchildren, and we're going to have another grandchild delivered by C-section to Samuel's wife a week from tomorrow. And and 3 of them are in full-time Christian service, so God is good. Amen. I'm really distracted because I want to say to you that I know more about Sam and Nicole's story than they know that I know. And generations of great missionaries. We're great missionaries.
Amen, brother.
Their story is amazing.
It is.
They're very humble, thank God.
Amen.
But I know more about their story than they know that I know. And God used them in a great way. And it's just humbling to speak after him. Now that doesn't mean much to you, but it does to me. Well, anyhow, every church has ministries. Vacation Bible School ministry, men's ministry, ladies ministry. When we started our church in Florida, I've pastored 3 churches, by the way, over 37. I've been a pastor just over 37 years. I pastored 3 churches, started the one in Florida, not quite from scratch, but close. And we determined that it would be a mission-minded church. And both the churches I pastored have been mission-minded churches. But when I went to Florida, it began traveling to the mission field. And so I've been to the mission field many, many times. And churches that have ministries, as I say, Vacation Bible School, ladies ministry, men's ministry. Our church has a bit of a unique ministry. Our church is a small church. We call it Miss Assist. My wife invented the name. She took the word missionary and assist and put them together to the word Miss Assist. Miss Assist is a local church-based ministry of missionary assistance. I forgot to look at the clock. Okay. And in Miss Assist, and my wife and I are the missionaries, so I serve as the pastor of the small church. We have a bivocational assistant pastor. He works a full-time job and is our assistant pastor. And my wife and I do our mission work in addition to that. And there's 4 things that really constitute what we do with Miss Assist. The first is that we try to challenge Christians in churches about the matter of the Great Commission. You know, mission conferences are going, by the way. We know that churches that mission conference, we're not aware of the ones that don't anymore. And at mission conferences nowadays, in many churches, it's like this. Well, it's going to be 4 days. I don't really think I can go 4. But I know I can go Sunday. I think I'll go Wednesday. I know how much my faith promise is going to be. Who's the speaker? Yeah, I heard it before. And churches need to be, and this isn't true of all churches. I know that. But churches need to be really challenged about the matter of the need of the world. Over half of the people in the world have never heard a clear presentation of the gospel of Jesus Christ one time. So in Miss Assist, as the Lord opens up the opportunities, my wife and I travel, and I speak at mission conferences or mission emphasis Sundays, and just try to re-challenge people. Maybe it's just a different voice with the need to personally engage with the matter of reaching the world with the gospel. When we have speakers come to our mission conference, Rodney's coming, Lord willing, next winter, I tell them, listen, I see mission conference as a revival meeting. Don Sisk from West Coast Baptist College says a mission conference is a church business meeting on the fate of the world. And so I tell the speaker, look, now, not revival meeting like we usually think, but I mean, I just ask the speaker, we need to really be stirred in our hearts about our walk with God and about our responsibility to God, our responsibility to the church, and the missions will take care of itself.
It's true.
It always does. So, not only that, challenging Christians in churches, we assist national pastors. Now, when I say assist national pastors, we don't raise money for them.
Right.
We don't support national pastors. I've been there, done that, taking no credit. I've raised thousands of dollars for national pastors, tens of thousands, actually. And then one day, I realized that when a missionary calls our churches, there's a few things we pastors want to know. It's really only a few, isn't it? You know, the doctrinal statement, they're this, they're that. One of the questions we always ask is, are you going to the mission field to start, in our case, independent Baptist churches? Your case, it may be independent Bible, somebody from about independent Bible churches, and we listen to them. Independent Baptist, yeah, right? The fact of the matter is that most missionaries going to the mission field, or most is overstating, some large percent of missionaries go to the mission field, from the moment they get off the plane, action before they get on, they're going to start dependent Baptist church.
That's true.
They're not starting independent Baptist church. And so when I say assist national pastors, I'm not talking about raising money for that. When money enters the equation, it changes everything. But coming along beside that, for encouragement, for speaking in their churches, teaching seminars, loads of national pastors all over the world, they're afloat on their doctrine. They know the gospel, but they're a little confused sometimes about that. They're in very, very discouraging places. How many babies is Pastor Lowy buried in Tanzania?
3.
3 babies he's buried in Tanzania. So we come along beside national pastors. Most of the traveling I do, because I'm a little more robust to traveling than my wife is, to be honest with you. It's really hard, much harder on her than it is me. Plus we have those 7 grandchildren and all that business. Plus she has ministry right in her own church. The R, and this comes from the word care, is recruiting missionaries to go to the mission field. There's some things about missions we talk about a lot, some we don't. One we don't talk about a lot is that the missionary force is shrinking. It's shrinking so fast and so drastically, it's frightening, to be perfectly honest with you. And what we say is, we send missionaries to the mission field. Well, I have an idea and a thought of that we need to disciple missionaries onto the mission field.
Very good.
If you could call missions a profession, for the sake of my sentence, right? We're the only profession that takes someone who's never done what they're going to do, and we send them to the other side of the world to do what they never did at home, in a culture they've never been to, in a language they do not speak. And then we're surprised when they don't make it. We're surprised when it doesn't work out for them. And so I have no title except this little teeny tiny, I am the official representative of the Gospel Furthering Fellowship at the Pensacola Christian College. That's my whole title. That's my whole title. And so, but we're not just looking to recruit missionaries and send them.
That's right.
We want to recruit missionaries and with their home church and their home pastor. We want to disciple them onto the mission field. Sort of the idea of a coach who from day one when they encounter us till the Lord comes, they can always call the coach. They can tell the coach anything. They can ask the coach anything. And the coach is almost like a rapid response team if he's needed. Coaches, husband and wife. Because the E in the word care is encouraging missionaries. I asked a missionary that served in Brazil for 42 years, what percentage of missionaries do you think are discouraged? He said 100. So I asked another missionary, he served in Brazil for 62 years, 100 years together. I said, what do you think of that? He said, absolutely. So I said, well, that's a lot. I got to ask this one over here, this missionary. This one was a pastor for 25 years in the United States, missionary in France for 20 years. He said, oh yeah, easily. They're all discouraged. So I thought, I better ask to see what Rodney Myers thinks. He said, 9 out of 10. Close enough. When I tell that to pastors, I think their natural inclination is to say, that's terrible. I don't know any discouraged missionaries. Let me tell you. Oh, yes, you do. The problem is when you're a missionary, you can't stand up and say, I'm discouraged. When your prayer letter opens with, I am discouraged, buddy, your days are numbered. You're done. If we wait till a missionary says, I need help, it's past him needing help.
Yep.
It's almost over for him and her.
Yep.
In fact, there's a missionary with your mission that you know really well that I was talking to one of his supporting pastors and said, Pastor, I know a missionary that you support. He said, who? And I told him. He said, yeah. He shared his testimony at our church with me. He was done. I thought, I don't know if he belongs on the mission field. Do you know why? Because he was real. He told the real deal. He said, man, this is hard. He said, this is really, really hard. And when the pastor heard, the supporting pastor heard, he said, that guy's a mess. He needs help. He wasn't a mess. He was being honest. But sometimes you get a little bit too honest and it gets a little uncomfortable. Men and ladies, I've lost count of the missionaries who looked me in the eye with tears in their eyes, tears running. First sergeant from the Air Force, a missionary after retiring, tears running down his face. He She said, brother, my pastor doesn't get it. Now, don't misunderstand. He loves his pastor. He respects him. But a lot of pastors don't really understand what it's like to be a frontline missionary. This is a guy, as a first sergeant, I think he told me, had 200 people working for him. He said, well, what are you doing, Mrs. Sis? I told him. He's crying like a baby in 15 minutes. And he looks up at me. He said, I didn't know anyone understood this. I didn't know anybody understood this, but you do. How is it that you do? I don't get it. Well, it's not, we all have an understanding. I don't know a thing about our youth. Can't help you. I don't know a thing about, I know very little about PTSD. That's why I'm here. Because way more missionaries suffer from PTSD than we think.
Yes.
Way, way more. The number's frightening. I hate to tell you. It's frightening how many do, in my own estimation. And so we try to come along beside missionaries, encourage them. The problem is we do send out a prayer letter. We are supported, my wife and I, by a couple of churches and some individuals, but I can't tell the story of the discouraged missionary because somebody will know who that is. You can't put the stories I know you can't put in print because somebody will say, he put my story in print. That's the whole deal. Encouraging missionaries involves somebody who listens, somebody who doesn't judge and condemn, and somebody who doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah, that's right.
Anybody what they, what they're really going through. We also, in our brochure, said that we provide missionary respite. So my phone rang, John O'Malley. Brother, could you fill in for a missionary on Grand Cayman for 6 weeks? Grand Cayman.
He gave
Jesus.
He gave you a suitcase full of cash, didn't he?
So, this past summer, I spent 6 weeks on Grand Cayman filling in for a missionary. Tragic, tragic missionary story. The missionary didn't go back. Then we received a call, my wife and I. Do you think you and your wife could go to Micronesia for 2 months and fill in for a missionary? And it's not, I'm just like, I grew up in North Branford, Connecticut. When I got saved, and I got saved at 15 years old, I only wanted to know 2 things. Which car the girls riding home in, and where are we going to eat on our way home? It's like, back when dinosaurs ruled the world, you only had McDonald's and Burger King, so there weren't many choices. I'm just a plain old simple guy. I didn't go to a fancy school. I'm not part of anybody's fellowship, or I don't have connections with anybody, but I have a heart that is really burdened to come along beside missionaries because they're really, really, really hurting in ways, and it's not, when I say in ways people understand, it's not that I'm better. I've spent hundreds of hours interacting and just listening to missionaries and letting them talk. I was in a place, and in the place I was in with Rodney, he was off doing something. We were staying in a compound, and there's a young missionary couple there. The missionary man was off, so the only people in the compound are the guards, the dogs, the wife, the 2 little kids, and me. And so it wasn't appropriate for me to go in their house and have lunch. The husband's not in the compound. So she's told the kids, ask Pastor Chris if he'd like to have a picnic with us on the staff. And so I said, yeah, I'd love to have a picnic with you on the staff. And so we went to the staff to have a picnic. It was about 10 or 15 minutes. Then I engaged the young missionary wife. She's probably the age of my daughter, my oldest child's daughter. And after we were there talking for about 15 minutes, we were talking about how pastors do not understand what a burden it is for missionaries to drive around church after church after church with 1, 2, 3 little kids. And how hard they can be on missionaries when one of those kids cries during the service. Ridiculous. Anyway, we finished our picnic. It was great.